so hard to deal with these kind of initial pokes. I think that normally you would go for the hail of arrows at level 1 on this Varus, but this level 1 piercing arrow is providing so much pressure onto Demon Kite. Thankfully, they did get some trade back onto Genza, so not much was lost, but the sums from Demon Kite definitely expanded. So that level 2 is gonna be in CES's favor.
And I'd love to see both of them on traditional marksmen as well, as we've seen plenty of mages to appear, and the only outlier to be Senna that has a really high pick ratio as well as bans on top of it. And going back to the storyline, I don't think it could ever be ever scripted by anybody else. Like, if you're telling me that NIGMA actually survived the brunt of all the #1 teams. And speaking of which, First Blood.
I believe it's a mid lane dive, so both of them give their life away. And BMM was the one who drew First Blood, so was it BMM? I think. What to check? Yeah, BMM I think drew First Blood.
Feels like it.
It kind of feels like it, right?
Yeah.
Either way, it's a very eco trade.
Yeah, the goal differences is not exactly too huge.
Wait, Aaron drew First Blood because he got that extra experience, so
right.
We can leave it at that because there's no goal differences, which is a bit surprising. We said that these two teams love to ego check each other, well, mech check each other in that solo lane.
And same goes to Y1 versus Chami, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's all about timing, and timing, how they would be able to fend off on a 1v1 setting. But question is, once the junglers are involved in this battle, what would be the outcome?
Yeah, there is the black shoe, so Delby will not able to get the Dredge line connection, at least not get the pull off. We're seeing Demon Kai actually start with the Relic Shoe, so that's the good thing about Ashe, right? Not as resource intensive. It's all about the arrow and the spam, but most importantly, to provide vision with the Hawk Shot. So NGX, again, very subtly pivot towards Chami and Aaron, and that's the game plan at the end of the day.
That's right, and I think Legaxi would still have a really strong...
Fake Seal. This could be a solo kill with a bit of help from Demon Kite. Aaron, incredibly happy with that downtown arrangement.
Wow, perfect timing coming out of the bottom lane. And that sets up Aaron so quickly with a Fate Seal to connect directly upon BMM. Maximum output of damage along with the solo unbound. That definitely was quite the convincing attempt, and this is the very reason why Ashe has been banned out in majority of the series, where it could just get you advantages from places that you don't suspect.
I think the saddest part is that CES actually had vision where Demon Kai shot his ultimate from, but probably there was a lack of communication because BMM was completely unaware. And that puts Aaron in a decent lead, right? Comes back with the first core item, play out the Ruined King, and automatically you just win your lane then and there.
Yeah, and on top of that, there's so much things that an Ashe could possibly provide. Huge vision control with the Hawkshot whenever it's up online. And despite whether that was communicated true, I felt like you could always still curve the enchanted crystal arrow. So it's really down to BMM to really dodge it. He did have the flash.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit untimely. Another one will hit towards Genza.
It's such a simple setup. With Aaron, that's a killing spree. And you do not expect a Yone to be roaming because he doesn't really have the tools to do so. But guess who's enabling is Demon Kite. And it kind of comes full circle, right? Demon Kite going a non-resource intensive route with that Relic Shoe. Whenever these arrows come back up, it's not like the version that we saw from CES where you need to arrow into an explosive cast into a Dragon Rage. This is not it. You have easy skills to land, and look at Aaron, he's gonna solo kill BMM. And in the span of 2 minutes, Aaron has gone from just 1-1 to 4-1.
Who would have expected a mid lane Yone to be able to just ramp up ever so quickly? 5 minutes of play, we're already getting 5 takedowns across the map, and everything has been secured in the hands of Aaron. Sure, CERBERUS Esports will be able to get themselves this Rift Herald, but they have bigger problems to address. Well, this form of early lane swap has been given a little bit more benefit to Aaron in particular.
Oh yeah.
And he's already got the silent pressure.
Look at that.
And yet again, another one bites the dust.
And that's BMM's third death in 3 minutes. That is not how you want your Z game to go.
And even if he actually did go in for that equal exchange early on,
it did not matter, right?
It didn't even matter.
It didn't have the experience advantage. He still has the same net worth. And Genza, he shows up in the bot lane. And by now, I think CS need to recognize that this lane is unsavable. You cannot salvage that turret anymore. You have to play around this top side where Chami wasn't really getting pressured, but they are taking structures, and Meliodas forced away. This is a 2 versus 1. There's no riposte for Chami, so at least Y1 picks up the kill. They get a couple more go injection with that Shelly charge. But the rest of the map is collapsing for CES.
Yeah, they're just trying to find whatever avenues that they could possibly get. At least closing off the gap. Now it's only 1,000 of a difference. And later on, if they do get the pickup against Aaron, it will be a huge shutdown goal to resource back into one of the members of CERBERUS Esports if they ever get their hands on. But there's always going to be Joshi as well as Draw around. And Demon Cloud has been playing quite the perfect Ashe. You know, he's going to also build into an early Hourglass, so it's not going to be all too easy for BMM to catch him off guard.
Yeah, it's a support Ashe in essence. And this is CES willingly giving NGX their comfort picks. Right, this Joshi Morgana, it feels like it's telegraphed from the get-go. A point-blank arrow into just all the skills in the world, and Joshi lands the biting onto Genza. Genza just wanted to help, but you get a fadeaway from this Morgana, and Meliodas, he gets baited into a Joshi that he cannot kill, and the grand challenge goes off. This game has already fallen into complete chaos for CES.
And there's just absolutely no hole of a control where NIGMA Galaxy, those solo kills happen across the map, and there's an attempt coming from BMM.
And he's immediately forced away. And look at Chami and Aaron, they're diving past the tier 1 turret. That charge sent out by a Duck B, but only as a spectacle. Under 8 minutes, we have this building lead for NIGMA Galaxy. It's 3,000 net worth advantage, but that is about to increase because Chami, again, he's a guy that he will fight everyone. The arrow is coming. Chami, again, giving Y1 the false sense of security. And what can Duck B do? He watches his Baron laner die.
Even if he does have the ultimatum, it wouldn't resort all too much. Just a couple of finishing touches on that turret, and they will eventually have to leave, but they're still hoping to defend. They
did shut down Aaron, but there is a black shield for Joshi. And Meliodas, he can only force both of his enemies away, but
the Kite's coming as well.
The arrow is almost back up. Remember,
cooldown's low.
CS just so adamant in wanting to protect this lane. They cannot even get through draw, and Meliodas, he wants no part of this. And CES eventually surrenders the structure, but it took them so much time. BMM only got to shovel, I think, 2 waves in the top lane. They got a shutdown onto Aaron mid. That's a consolation prize. But NGX still feels like the victors overall.
Indeed, and CERBERUS Esports, they tried to pry open the Baron lane turret. But now with Aaron on the watch out, I don't think they're going to be able to lend their hands on that anytime soon. So it's really down to them to secure another Herald in order to create more space for themselves. They've been able to get the very first one at the very least. But I don't think they're up for any form of 5 versus 5. Demon Kite, we'll see whether or not can he send a good arrow as they're on the approach.
Draw, yeah, he just goes to a bit of scouting. NGX a bit late to the party as the arrow was not able to be bent in the right angle. So CES is kind of gets away with the Rift Herald. But I just caught a glimpse of the net worth, and the relic shoe on Demon Kite is finally paying off because Draw's net worth is almost the same as Genza.
Yeah, and Genza honestly couldn't really do much about a lot of all these sort of setups that have come in from Joshi, and now being set behind, this Varus won't be able to offer enough damage, and they're chasing onto Meliodas.
Joshi, just no hesitation with the flash, Soul Shackle. They want to lock Meliodas down, and Chami, he wants to proc that Grand Challenge, doesn't get it. Snip at the last second. The Grand Challenge also expires. NGX overstepping a bit. Chain of Corruption used onto Draw. CES not able to follow up, but they will settle for that Chami kill.
Big Boss Aaron is here, though. They should be able to find a little bit more of an opening. BMM moves into the middle of the pit.
And Aaron just dashes in with the Mortal Steel, gets the knockout, goes right back with the Soul Unbound, immediately decimates BMM. And Aaron, he is still pretty much healthy, flashes over the wall, three-man knockup! And this is why this man, Aaron, is the MVP of the previous series. You got to believe it, the ultimate is back up, he gets the scissors in his face, but his blade is strong! Finally falls, but not without a triple kill and an ace for NGX.
My goodness, if it's going to be any sooner, it could have also been a pentakill for Aaron himself. But NGX, they looked like they were basically losing out that team fight. Great repositioning coming in from Joshi and the rest of them to be able to find those angles. And Aaron saw that opportunity, went in for that flash forward, and managed to catch not one, not two, but 20 members all sent up in the air. Just positioning them deep into this bottleneck where Cerberus cannot even escape. Some of the flash were available in the past fight.
Yeah.
And Genza didn't have that opportunity to even get out of that mess.
And that was a 4 versus 5.
Right.
That was a fight, I believe, without Chami. And Aaron single-handedly dismantled the ranks of CES. 8, 3, and 5 so far. 3 core items. 12 minutes in, the Solari Charge Blade being the third. I mean, you look at CES right now, you have to think to yourself, CES, they cannot be looking for fights. I don't think that there are any objectives that CES can forcefully contest.
But it's the Vietnamese region teams that we're talking about here that has always favored fights. Despite losing many of these battles, look at the goal gap. It's honestly not too far apart. Oh, Fate Seal.
Aaron trying to use it preemptively as the arrow was coming through. So BMM will be able to dodge it, but NGX, they are already showing up top. And CES, they do not have the numbers. And you can see on the side of the screen, BMM is already gone on. The members of NGX are just doing work. Draw picks up the kill. They do lose Demon Kai in the process. CS looking for a bit of response, but the best respite is Genza getting a double.
And we're talking about them not ever backing it out for a fight. Finally, they get to go in for a few pickups there. Both bomb laners out, shut down by Cerberus Esports. Well, of course, we wish to actually get a few glimpses of what really went down. But despite that, they find themselves in recovery. Another Herald in the hand of Cerberus Esports. Y1 will be so slippery. And Cerberus Esports hoping to find some form of resources from the side lanes from here on.
Yeah. All things considered, Cerberus Esports are by no means behind. Just a mere 2,000 gold disadvantage. And that is a very small gap to clear for Cerberus Esports. So I think that, so for NGX, respect definitely still needs to be shown. Genza is building up that item pool as well. So those arrows are going to start to hurt. I mean, NGX have been playing this very fast early to mid-tempo game, just arrow binding, arrow gank. But that window is going to get smaller and smaller as the game progresses. I mean, BMM gets gone on, but CS was able to respond.
Yeah, we saw a lot of time being bought by BMM is NIGMA Galaxy spent a little too much time cutting into the turret range where they couldn't really get everybody out on board. Now, NIGMA Galaxy needs to be a little bit more careful on the approaches for a pickoff. Genza, now having a Super Fang as well as Moon, has been able to stabilize at the very least. And finally, landing their hands on Demon Kite that seemingly become invincible. Arrow misses, but they're still proning about them.
The needlework is doing so much. Across the piercing arrow, the blight procs, they do shred through tanks, so Draw needs to respect that output. And I think that in these situations, if the arrow somehow misses, NGX cannot proceed. Not when CS still has the spells, but they will try to get some revenge onto Genza and Aaron, just giving Genza no space at all, straight towards the backline for the kill, and the death charge is just way too late.
And he's already popped his flash, still couldn't get out of the grass. Arrow with the Fate Seal, been able to just burst him down. Already looking for his fourth item, another arrow sent down bot. Trying to catch off BMM.
Uh-oh, BMM, he only has one more shadow and that's pretty much it. Goes
TP.
golden to buy time. He will get assistance from Y1, but that is a lot of resources expended. CES, they have the intention to go for collapse, but they are just not in position.
Yeah, and this seems a lot harder to do when NIGMA Galaxy were the ones to approach many of these games on split pushes. The ban onto the Riven has affected this, where Chami has to really pick those opportunities whenever he really wants to go for slant lane shoves or to commit in some of these battles. But NIGMA Galaxy has been able to go in for very good trades, even on the 1-3-1. Especially when Demon Kai could always send arrows from all across the map. Next objective coming up, when we see a 1v1 through the middle of all.
What an arrow from Demon Kite. It's perfectly telegraphed from NGX. Good news is the wave is shoved in, so Chami will take some time to grab that turret. But bad news is it's now a 4 versus 4, and NGX again arriving at the scene. Dugby using his body as a shield. Joshi will just soul shackle and walk right into the pit to try and get the dragon, and it's going to be drawn and steals it with the Spirit Fire. Aaron still stays alive. Meliodas goes down, and the damage output from CES has been severely reduced. Joshi will be the casualty, but the arrow gets sent up by Demon Kai. Dugby will use his body to buy space for and time for the rest of his team, but it doesn't seem to be the case because Chami shows up out of nowhere, and NGX finds another big fight.
Oh my goodness. NIGMA Galaxy, they just get everything. We didn't expect Demon Kai to commit the arrow when the battle for that dragon was about to begin. And it hit perfectly. Got a lot more going on for Chami, and they still won that fight without needing to lose all too much. Though Joshi did get picked at the very end, they already got what they wanted. Here comes another arrow.
BMM has no shadow. Easy kill for NGX. Rinse and repeat, just another day in the office for the team. And Y1 can't really stand up to this punishment. NGX triple dragons in the arsenal.
This time, the goal disparity is being built up. 6,000. Hex that ultimatum.
They won Aaron, but it is not a sound idea, Y1. Meliodas maybe can make a difference, but the dredge line misses. And Aaron, he is not afraid to go in for these fights. He has that lifesteal and sustain. And with that pickoff, NGX have this surge of confidence. They have the damage and the numbers. It's Baron time.
There's just absolutely no avenue for BMM throughout the course of this map play that he was trying to go for split pushes, trying to do everything he can. He could only delay the Baron ever so slightly, but NIGMA Galaxy is on the charge.
And they're going to turn right onto Dugby. They have so much resources to juggle these objectives left, right, and center. Probably the worst game for BMM so far. 2 and 8, and Genza. Why? I mean, he stayed around.
And they lost everything. Just even managed to take away that blue buff over the wall. And all that is left is for them to just push directly from the mid lane. And only 2 members of Cerberus Esports could be able to hold on for now. BMM is coming through.
One last arrow onto Y1 and NGX. Eyes on the prize. BMM is no longer a threat. Meliodas not as well. NGX with a strong opening statement in this game number 1. A grand finals worthy of the Kingslayers, but my God, NGX showed up strong.